And now you would have to also know that, okay, I'm a woman, I have to also marry. I have the desire to marry. I have to marry. And definitely before you marry, you have to accept a man's proposal, right? So therefore, there's going to be one that you are going to accept his proposal, right? Now, what criteria are you going to use to accept some of these proposals and turn down some of these proposals? This is where wrong choices come in. You see, now, the criteria or principle of selecting, or the rules governing the selection or passing and qualifying people, men as a woman, to come into your life for dating. That criteria, some will say that, okay, that criteria is my own interest list, my own checklist of what I want in a man. Okay, if he's tall, this is what I want. Tall, I want it. If he has money, this is what I want. This one. But that is wrong, because that is the wrong way of seeing relationships. We think that what qualifies, if you are talking about, let's say, myself as a woman, we think that what qualifies a man to come and date me is my own criteria and my own principles. That is wrong. I'll come to why that is wrong. What the criteria is supposed to be his criteria. Wait, not his criteria of the type of woman that he wants. The criteria of the type of guy that he is, whether he is going to be compatible with the relationship institution or not. Let me repeat again. We think that it is our own criteria. The guy comes, he meets my checklist, therefore I will accept him. No, that is the wrong way of seeing it. It is the criteria of a healthy relationship, and whether that guy meets it or not, it's not your principle. So your principle can say that I want a tall guy, but according to the institution of relationships, does that tall guy meet that criteria of healthy relationship? He doesn't, and therefore my criteria now gets thrown down. He doesn't meet it. He doesn't meet that relationship criteria. Now, do you know the origins of that relationship or dating criteria? The origins comes from the criteria of marriage, the criteria or requirement of a healthy marriage. Because note, if we are to abide by our own criteria, I know it's going on top of a lot of people's head, but I'm going to break it down into smaller chunks. If we as human beings are supposed to go by our own principles, criteria, and rules for accepting people in our lives, don't you know that even as we grow up, our interests or our criteria of even beauty, it changes as we grow? Me, for instance, when I was young, women with pimples on their face, they look nice to me. I like women with pimples. Yeah, when I see women with pimples on their face, they look beautiful. But as you grow, that interest changes, right? So I remember when I was young, there was a certain guy in our classroom who said that for him, girls with flat chest really attracts him. When you see girls with flat chest, he said, wow, I love these girls. So you see, do you think that when he grows up, he will still love girls with flat chest? You see, so if we are supposed to go with our own criteria for relationships and marriage wouldn't have lasted in history till now because of how subjective it is. Now, do you even know that that institution of relationship and dating comes out of the institution of marriage? It's like a science, one science giving birth to another science. Let's say, I don't want to get too technical, but we have a science called centripetal force. Now, centripetal force is the force that keeps an object in circular motion. It comes out of gravity. It's like gravity is giving birth to centripetal force. Now, it's this same centripetal force that holds the earth spinning around the sun. So one force, gravity, is now giving birth to another. So the institution of marriage gave birth to the institution of dating and relationship. we look at certain professions. Let's say if you go to, let's say, a law firm, you are going to apply to be employed. You don't know anything about law. Are you going to be accepted? No, because that institution has its own qualification that brings you into it, right? Now, when we see marriage as its own institution that has its own qualifications, now we are going to see that, oh, okay, we are coming to look on it and now compare those qualifications of the institution of marriage to the people that come into our lives to see that do they match those qualifications, and if not, they won't pass. And if we know that the institution of marriage gave birth to the institution of dating, an institution of relationship, then if a person approaches us to date us, we are now going to now classify them or grade them based on that institution, whether they qualify or not. You see, so when you meet many people, you are going to turn down the offer of most of them, but you are going to accept some of them. So now, the ones that you are going to accept their proposal, you are not supposed to go by your own criteria, else you are going to burn yourself, because either you are too naive or you are basically dumb. You don't know how to make the best decision for yourself. You don't know how to make the right choice for yourself. So ditch your own principles and study the principles that govern the marital institution, the criteria that people are supposed to qualify in order to be considered a marriage material and therefore a dating material. So now the question, I deviated a bit, but I'm circling back. The woman is saying that every person that, based on her logic, every person that she meets, she's supposed to accept the proposal because God brought them to. No, you end up being a prostitute. And so if you are going to accept one, it means that you are supposed to abide by a certain governing principles or governing criteria, and that is not supposed to be your criteria. Else you say that I love guys with long necks, and therefore you are going to marry a guy with a long neck, and you end up seeing and realizing that he's probably stingy guy. He doesn't give money. And a stingy guy is going to be a guy who won't have the capability to take care of your children because he doesn't like putting out money. So he started with you and he's going to take it to your children. So you were looking for a long neck guy, as an example, a bearded guy. That was your principle. But the marital institution or the dating institution, you see, I've told you that it is siblings, right? Marital institution, dating institution, they are siblings. One comes from the other, right? So, but if you know that the criteria for the marriage or marital institution is that the guy is supposed to be, let's say, hardworking, or let's say have a leadership quality, or have a provision quality. Now these are going to be your own principles. You are no more going to abide by, let's say, I want a dark-skinned guy, I want a guy with a nice beard, I want a guy with a tall guy, I want a guy who is this. No, you are ditching that. Now you are going to study the principles that govern marriage and the type of people that are supposed to qualify into it. These are the criteria for the institution of marriage. Now they are going to be your criteria that you are going to abide by. And when you meet a guy and he qualifies that criteria for a healthy marriage, you are going to now consider him. So women should now rewire themselves to ditch their own personal criteria for relationships that they go by. Else they are going to always make the wrong choices. So women should study the marital institution, which is connected to the dating institution or relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, dating or whatever. It's still a form of marriage. Do you know why? If your girlfriend is sick and calls you at night, baby, I'm sick, I'm vomiting, I'm struggling, are you going to say that, why don't you call your mom to come and take care of you? Why don't you call your dad to come and pick you up and take you to hospital? As a boyfriend, you feel that you have a certain obligation to probably maybe pick a car or something and come to help her, right? If she calls you, a police have arrested me, you are going to stop whatever you are doing and come, right? Don't you feel that is a bit of a role of a husband? Now, if your girlfriend says, I'm lacking money, I'm struggling, I don't have money, my dad too is not having, don't you have an edge to at least give her some money as your girlfriend? Yeah. But giving money to a girl, isn't it the role of probably a husband? You see, if you are dating, or if your girlfriend, you're having a girlfriend and you want to cook and your girlfriend knows how to cook, don't you expect your girlfriend to come and cook for you? But isn't that the role of a wife, the lady you've married? We still expect from each other certain performances that we are supposed to give each other in marriage, right? Then it means dating, girlfriend boyfriend relationship is still a form of marriage, just that a reduced form of it, an illegal form of it. It's still marriage, the same qualification that a person should qualify for marriage, supposed. So when you see a guy, no, put down your own needs, your own wants, and your own criteria, and learn how to spot a marriage material man. And once he comes to you, you assess and you qualify. Else, you're going to just be accepting the wrong guys in your life.